It's me, Renee. I'm back. And yeah, today I decided I'm going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm going to be talking about two books that I read at the tail end of last year, like at the very end, that I loved. Well, I suppose I could talk about books I didn't love, but how will I do that? I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to talk about two books that I very much loved, and then I'm going to talk about my goals from this year. For this year, I have already talked a bit about my goals in other videos, but this is going to be like more than just like the number goal. And maybe that's it. Did I have something more to? Oh yeah, I'm gonna wrap up like my goals from last year. So yes, that's that. Let's start with the books because why not? Someplace you gotta start. So there's which one do I yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. So Planes, Trains and All the Fields by Livy Hart. I picked up because I think it was last fall or something. I kind of wanted to like, you know what? I want some funny books. So I googled funny books. Did I Google funny books 2023? I'm not sure. But anyway, I found this on a list of funny books coming out last year. Checked out what it was about and thought like, yeah, looks like a nice cover, a nice, interesting concept or like thought. I'm gonna get it. So I ordered it, bought it, and end up having it on the shelf and then picking up at the end of December. I think actually I read this like the 30th, really. Yeah, the 30th or 31st, like at the very end of the year, really. So this book, it's a romance. It's about Cassidy and Luke. So they meet at the airport in, what is it again? No, they meet at the airport in Milwaukee. I believe it is. Well, it's, you know, I'm going to double check. The airport in, yeah, it's in Charlotte's airport. So I believe Charlotte is a town. I mean, American geography, it's a big country. But yeah, they meet in that airport, and then they're about to take a plane. They go on the plane. I'm just going to give you some highlights first. They go on a plane. Because of a storm, the plane has to change course. And because they both need to go to the same place at the other end of the country, they end up going there together by planes, trains, and cars. And yeah, planes, trains, and all the fields, because fields happens. It's a romance. Of course, they're gonna fall in love. So yeah, also at the back, you might kind of think this is kind of like a enemies to lovers thing, because like at the beginning they're kind of butting heads a bit, but I would say that pretty quickly they kind of become friends. It's not like they're enemies for a long time, really. But yeah, so at the very beginning they they meet when Luke takes her parking spot. Well, takes her parking spot. He takes the parking spot that she tried to get for the airport. She's late. She tries to get a parking spot, but he gets it just before her. And then after that, they end up. After that, he ends up going before her in the queue to the airport. So like there's this small kind of like things that can make Cassidy or Cassidy kind of, why are you doing this? But it's not like he's doing it on purpose. It's just he doesn't see her because he's on his phone working and he's not paying attention. So it's not like he's deliberately on purpose trying to like be mean to her. And yes, at the beginning it's kind of like, but they also like on the plane while the storm is going. I won't say it's a spoiler. No, it's not. It happens like second chapter. So yeah, while the storm is, there's a bit of turbulence. Give me a moment. That's what happens sometimes with phones and stuff. Yeah. So on the plane, the turbulence because of the storm, and Luke is a bit scared, so she tries to like calm him down, and after that they slowly become more and more friendly and friends. And yeah, they end up going across the country together because they're going to the same place in well, they're going to LA. So yeah, and yeah, so this is a romance. It's a romance with two people, mainly for the most part being friends. They're not really lovers until like the pretty end. Like there's not like they don't make out very quickly in a book, but like it's kind of slowly. But I kind of like slow burn romances, so I feel like this was a good way to do it. It is dual point of view, which I kind of feel like it's the best way to do romance. Like if you're gonna do romance with two characters but just one point of view, it's like kind of like I mean you kind of, at least with me, I love seeing the romance where you see both people fall for each other from their point of view. You see, yeah, you see both people and the point of view and their lives, and not just like, I suppose, yeah, I mean you have romances where you don't have dual point of view. Honestly, nowadays I kind of feel like they're kind of lacking, because I feel like it's just so much better when you see both people falling in love and making mistakes and pining, and yeah, I love that. Um, but yeah, also as I said, like this was on a list of funny books coming up last year, and I definitely definitely agree. It's quite funny, quite funny. It's very funny. I did laugh quite a bit when I read this, so it's very funny. It's very, I would say, it's endearing and nice. Like both characters, it's not like a very high conflict book. Like they're like both main characters pretty quickly become friends, so it's not like, well, I suppose, yeah, it's not a lot arguing them with each other, and it's kind of like both characters are kind of like cinnamon in a buns in a way, like they're just lovely and nice, and it's kind of more like the world around them that are idiots, but they themselves are nice, lovely people, and yeah, I love this book. So yeah, definitely a 5 star for me. Loved it very much. Also, it turns out this is like the fourth or third book by Livy Hart, this author. So definitely go check out her other books. So I suppose kind of have to check out like what they're about, because I'm one of those people. I don't read a book, all the books by author, because like if the plot and stuff doesn't interest me, it doesn't matter who the author is. Like the plot has to be interesting. So yeah, if the plot of the other books sounds interesting, I'll check them out, because the writing on this one is just amazing. So yeah. Though a little side note, I would say like the only thing I kind of don't like about this book is like, okay, so Cassidy says she has to get back to her sister's wedding, and it's like it's she's the play is going on like Thursday, and she's gonna the wedding is on Sunday, so it's just like, yeah, a few days away. And I kind of feel like when you're doing a book where like you're supposed to reach something, or you have a deadline, it's not a deadline in like the kidnapping way, or like if you don't do this by then I'll kill them. But like it's kind of like, yeah, you're counting down something. I kind of feel like you could like have like a beginning of chapters. You could have like 3 days wedding, 2 days wedding. That would be nice. I mean, they do mention it in the chapter. But I kind of felt like it was kind of be nice to have it at the beginning of the chapter also. So yeah, honestly, that's my only gripe about this book. It's very, very good. Highly recommend it. And yeah, also another little small note. I mean, this is just tiny, tiny note, but yeah. So yeah, as I said, Cassidy, she goes back to her sister's wedding. Her sister's getting married to a Swede. And yeah, it is established. I might be wrong, but I think pretty sure it's established that the person she's getting married to is a Swede, not like a American, like I'm a Swede, but like more like American in a way, like my great grandfather came from Sweden. I think the character himself was born and raised in Sweden. But other than like mentioning him as Sweden, him being a Swede, and like him having blonde hair and like muscles, which I don't know, kind of seems like you Americans often think that all Norwegians or like all Scandinavians are buff and blonde, which is not true really. But cool stereotype to have, I suppose. Anyway, but yeah, there wasn't really any. There wasn't like any. The Swede didn't like. He didn't say any Swedish word or anything. So that's just kind of a small gripe for me. Like, I don't know, when I read about Swedish or Scandinavians in American books, it's kind of like fun when they mention normal things like, "Oh yeah, this is so nice. It's just like Stockholm or like something," but it's not like a huge minus point really. It's just a small gripe for me really. Sorry. And then we have another book. This was not on a was not on the same list of like funny books, though it is funny. I knew about this book I'm going to talk about now, because it's a sequel to another book that I read 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years ago. And yeah, I plan to read for like a while and pick it up at the end of December. It is Charlie and Anders and the Castle of Bones. So yeah, this is the second, sorry, the second in the, give me a moment, in the series, which is called, why doesn't the series name say here? It's just stupid. Yeah, it's called The League of Shadows, which is the series names. Um, what is it, the series name? I believe it is. Anyway, yeah, anyway. Uh, it's a series um, it's a middle grade series, I would say. Yes, a middle grade series with Latin American or Latinx mythology. But it takes place kind of like both the first, this is my second book, but both the first and second book kind of takes you on a wild ride, not goose chase. Yeah, kind of you go around the world really in because of plot reasons. So you go to Portugal, you go to Spain, you go to Mexico. So like that's kind of fun places where you go in the first book. Second book here, you travel to Peru, Brazil, Mexico, Portugal. You go to like the second chapter is in Portugal. And you go to Chile. I mean, you go to lots of places, which is just lovely. I mean, you just at least I love to like travel in book form. It's just so fun. It's extra fun when it's like Spanish and like Latin America based because said this before, but it's been a while. I actually lived in Chile for 11 months in 2009, and I traveled around Latin America. Went to most of those countries. Haven't been to Ecuador, but like a lot of Latin American countries I've been to. So yeah, I love whenever a book is based around that. Um, and yeah, it's quite fun to like go deeper into Latinx mythology and Latinx history and stuff. You might think like I know a lot of those stuff because I lived there, but like I just lived there 1 year, so it's kind of fun to me to learn about like mythology, myths around Latin America, Mexico, Spain, those kinds of stuff. And yeah, if you like Percy Jackson, I mean this is kind of like a silly thing to like. It's always kind of that series you mentioned when it's mythology, but I feel like it's kind of apt reference also because it starts with like a main character who doesn't really believe in like mythology myths, and then soon it's like, oh yeah, the myths are real, and like, okay, so I have a big part in myths. Oh yeah, so it's kind of like main character saving the world shebang. um though I would say maybe in a way, honestly, I would say this series it's a bit of more hard hitting than Percy Jackson. um like I would say like part of it's kind of like more horror based because part of it is kind of like, oh my god, this monster is so creepy, not like a bit creepy but very creepy. um so I would say even though the main characters in this series is I think they were like 12, 13, I would say you can easily read this when you're 14 and older because yeah, at times it gets quite scary. uh, though I suppose there are 11-year-olds who are just like very tough 11-year-olds, but yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed this very much. What this does not have, like that a lot of other series in the same style has, it does not have chapter titles. It's just chapter numbers, but like there's illustrations. But yeah, so just so you know that. But yeah, all in all, this is another fantastic inclusion fantastic episode in this series. Also kind of weird because, as I said, this is the second book. The first book is this. First book, this length. Second book, this length. I mean, it's quite different in like pages. So you might think like, okay, so is this book? It doesn't have lots of boring parts and stuff. No, it is not. I mean, it's a chunker, but yeah, but every part in this book is important. I mean, introduces you to new characters that kind of stay for most of the book, that are important, and yeah, every scene in this book is important. So even though it's a big book, you don't really mind it being big because it's just so captivating and so good and yeah, amazing read. There's a third book already came out. That came out last year, really, 2 years last year, yeah. And a fourth book coming up this year. I don't know if the fourth book is the last book, but anyway, yeah, highly recommend this series by Ryan Calejo. So yeah. And then we're going to do some do some more, continue with the wrap up of last year's goal and stuff. So some of my goals was to read 23 to 23. Like that happened at the tail end, at the like the fall of last year. There's this thing where like you trying to get people to read more BIPOC offers, so like read 23 offers for the rest of 2023, and that started in like in August last year. So it wasn't like it didn't like count the books you read before that; it counted the books you read after that. But yeah, I did still like have a good reading a reading month for or reading months for like BIPOC offers for the fall of last year. So I ended up reading 10, 15, 20. Yeah, I didn't end up finishing quite, but I ended up reading 21 BIPOC offers at last fall. Oh, yeah, I would say 21 of 23 books. I mean, I just missed 2 books, so I wouldn't say that's too bad, really. That's quite good. So I'm pleased with that, definitely. And yeah, then we have my goal of reading 50 LGBTQ plus books during the whole of last year. I managed 10, 20, 30, 40, 52 books, which, yes, quite happy with that. Very, very happy. So yeah, and like I kind of went to like check out my notes like last week, and I thought, did I manage those goals? And yeah, apparently I did. So that's quite fun. I did not. I think I also mentioned this bit last like part of last year. I did not get all the offers I wanted to get to last year, but yeah, that happens. This year, and yeah, moving on. This year, I wanted to read Sarah McLean. So I've listened to her podcast, Fated Mates, for a lot of last year. And yeah, now it's a favorite podcast of mine. And yeah, I kind of want to read some of her books. I mean, I know she has quite a lot of books, so might not get all of them this year, but I want to try some of them at least. So Sarah McLean, all the other authors I wanted to try. I feel like some reason I feel like there's other authors. Oh, you know what? I know I want to read more. Give me a moment. Believe it's here. No, it's not. It's there. I want to read more by Elle McNichol. So I read the one book, 2 books? No, one book by her a few years ago now. 1 year? No, a few years ago. And yeah, so this is one of her fantasy books. I have, I believe, like 2 or 3 books over by her, so I want to read more of those. Though, I mean, that's what I read from by before. So if you want to like talk about also authors I have not checked out, this would not include in that list. But I want to read more by her, so this year. So I'm gonna mention her. So yeah, that's and yeah, yeah. I'm thinking this year. Sorry, this year I'm also gonna try to read 50 LGBTQ plus books. Uh, Now I feel like it's kind of, yeah, it's been, I would say it's kind of easier now than it was a few years ago, because now I have like more go-to series or like go-to authors that write queer. So yeah, in that way it's easier. Of course, it's always fun to try new authors, but yeah. I also want to read, um, like I did mention, comment on BookTube, and you know what? Yeah, I want to keep that kind of thought. I want to also try to read 50 books by BIPOC authors. I also want to read disability rep books, both fiction and non-fiction. And I want to do some more buddy reads. I am doing one at the moment, and I plan to do one. I thought I was doing one in January, and then I haven't really planned like details around that one. So I suppose, I mean, January's not over yet, but yeah. Uh, and then uh, and then is there anything else regarding goals? I don't really feel like there is more to really say about goals at this point, really. And yeah, so there's that. And yeah, I also plan to do some like more. I've had another. I found another New Year book tag. I think I might do that next week. It's not like it's not the same, but it's kind of like, yeah, a bit like talking about upcoming things and such. But yeah, I wanted to do this video as well because why not? So yeah, I think that's kind of it for today. I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.